Hey guys, Eric Temple here, and what I'm going to discuss today really quick is the limiting factor in your deadlift. So people have the misunderstanding, I think, that the back seems to be the limiting factor in the deadlift, and I just don't think that's necessarily true. And I'm going to start off by just talking about how everything that we do, running, walking, jumping, deadlifting, squatting, getting up out of a chair, all starts from the base. So if we look at alignment, if we look at lifting heavy, we always start from the floor, or we always start with our feet and then work its way up through the chain. So I'm going to just first discuss the concept of using your legs in a deadlift, since a lot of people always think about pulling the weight and then the first thing that goes in the deadlift is their back. So if we were to sit in a chair and if we were to get up out of a chair without anything in our hands by our sides, what we're going to do is slightly hinge at our hips, and then we're going to push through our heels to apply force to stand up. Your knees and your hips extend as one, okay? So say you put 30 or 40 pounds in each hand now. Our back is just there to maintain the weight that we're holding in our hands, and then from there, we hinge, we push through our heels. Our hips and our knees extend as one, okay? Now say we have our feet a little bit wider. This is gonna mimic the sumo. So you have, again, your hands either in the front or by your side, and to get up, you have to slightly hinge, and then you have to push through your heels to stand up. Your hips and your knees extend as one, same thing. So if you put a weight out in front of you or beside you, let's say in front, what you have to do is hinge. Your back maintains those 30 or 40 pounds that are in each hand, and then you just push, and your hips and your knees extend as one, okay? So if we can take the same concept and apply it to the deadlift, instead of worrying about pulling the weight, I think it's a little bit more beneficial to people that we teach. Okay, so what you'll hear a lot in the powerlifting community is rip the bar off the floor. And what that tends to do for a lot of people is, instead of using their heels to apply force into the ground, they'll yank the bar, and the first thing that'll go is their upper back and their lower back. And I'm sorry, your back can be very strong, but if you have 500 or 600 pounds hanging from your arms and the only thing that you're using to drive that movement is your back, you're going to have some issues. You're going to feel your back. You're not going to feel your legs, because the legs are now the limiting factor. What we need to realize is that in order to drive the weight up, we have to push through our feet. And you can think about using your back. You can get your back into a good position by getting your shoulder blades into your back pocket. But for me, someone who lacks thoracic extension or upper back extension, I lose my brace up front. So for me, I like to let my arms hang a little bit more, worry about my brace, and then push through the floor to get that weight up, okay? And what you'll see most of the time when people use their back as the primary mover, they'll drag that bar up their body, forgetting to use their legs, and they'll pull the bar back into their hips. And what tends to happen is that their back and their head are now behind their hips and their heels. What do you think that's going to do to your lower back? Okay? So what we need to think about doing is driving. Our back maintains the weight that we're holding in our hands, and we get our hips to the bar instead of getting the bar to our hips. Okay? Our legs are a lot stronger than our back. And when we see people that think it's their back that's the limiting factor, they do a lot of rows, pull-ups, and pull-downs, thinking that that's going to make their deadlift stronger. And that's just not the case. So we're going to go over this, or I'm going to go over this, sumo and conventional. Since I'm primarily a sumo deadlifter, I'm going to show you sumo first. So I set my brace up front, let my arms hang, push through my heels, I get my hips to the bar. Sumo or conventional, same thing, push and get my hips to the bar. Okay, from the side, same thing, set your brace, I let my arms hang, push through your heels, put your hips to the bar. Conventional, all right, so hopefully that made sense to you. Hopefully that helps you guys out. Thanks for listening. One more more quick thing that I wanted to add, guys, is if you miss a weight, ask yourself one question. Where do you feel it when you miss a weight? If you feel it in your back, you know you're not using your legs to drive the movement. So just ask yourself that question. That should clear things up. Thanks.